is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Earlier this evening, portions of mid-Michigan had a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms roll through, but outside of that, still an incredibly warm day. Temperatures topped out in the upper 80s to low 90s across the area. Not that much cooler outside right now, still 73 degrees in places like Lansing and Jackson, 72 for our current temperature in Howell and Mount Pleasant. Only cooling down into the low 70s overnight tonight, so still incredibly warm and incredibly humid. Those same conditions remaining in the forecast as we move into our Sunday. Those details and more coming up in just a little bit. 6 News at 11 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 11.
Fire crews spent the evening putting out a house fire in Williamston. It's our top story at 11. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rachel Ramsey. The fire happened on High Street, and when Delaney Rogers arrived on scene, there were at least a dozen fire trucks there to help fight the flames. Delaney, what else can you tell us?
Rachel, when I arrived, crews had the fire under control and were working on cleaning smoke from the home. I could see dozens of firefighters on scene, and neighbors were watching from porches and looking out their windows. In addition to fire crews, Consumers Energy was on scene and Williamston Police. The owner of the home told me that her husband was taken to the hospital to be checked for smoke inhalation, but they both made it out of the home safely, so did their pets. The cause of the fire has not yet been confirmed. 6 News has a call out to the Northeast Ingham Emergency Service Authority for further details and will continue to provide those as they become available. Back to you.
Thank you, Delaney. Deputies have some people in custody after a theft yesterday in Jackson County. The sheriff's office says it happened just before 3 p.m. on property in Summit Township belonging to the YMCA. Cameras caught the suspects driving away in a truck full of stolen property. Officials say they face multiple charges, though the number of suspects was not disclosed. Today, thousands hit the streets across Texas to protest a GOP plan to redraw congressional maps and add 5 Republican seats to the U.S. House. The controversial move is sparking talk in other states, including California, about possible redistricting changes. CBS News' Manuel Bjorquez is in Dallas.
They called these Fight the Trump Takeover rallies in several cities across the country. Here in Dallas, to Austin, to Los Angeles, they protested plans by Texas at the request of President Trump to redraw its congressional maps.
Don't mess with Texas. Don't mess with our districts.
Protesters object to the plan that could give Republicans 5 more seats in Congress ahead of next year's midterm elections. What's your message today?
Our message is that when our rights are under attack, we have to stand up and fight back.
Then there will be a check on their lawlessness. There will be accountability for their crimes.
The House will come to order.
But the state's Republican majority is now poised to make it happen, opening a second special session.
Texans stay and fight. In this case, you have a bunch of cowards who cut and run.
Democrats who left the state to prevent a vote have said they will return. Now the California governor Gavin Newsom said voters there will decide on a redistricting measure that could counter the Texas GOP gains.
We have got to recognize the cards that have been dealt, and we have got to meet fire with fire.
It's not clear exactly when all Texas Democrats will return to the state, but as long as there are 100 lawmakers available for a vote, which is quorum in the Texas House, the bill is expected to pass. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Dallas.
Well, the VFW National Home in Eaton Rapids hosted a veterans workshop today. There were resources available along with a screening of a documentary about the lives of soldiers during the war in Iraq. The film is called Brothers After War and follows the director Jake Rademacher through his journey of reconnecting with his brothers and other soldiers that he met while documenting the height of the Iraq War. At least a dozen veteran families came out to watch, and ahead of the screening, the director talked about the purpose of the film, which he says is to open up a dialogue about the trauma and struggles veterans face when transitioning back into society.
When we introduce the film, we're going to encourage the veterans to also be emotionally courageous and also open up about their experiences, as a group. Once I got there, I fell in love with the men and women that serve and was sort of blown away by the depth of their spirituality, the depth of their perspective, the things that they're wrestling with.
The film was sponsored by the Gary Sinesi Foundation, who supports veterans and first responders. Brothers After War was released in February and is currently on Amazon Prime. The 79th annual DeWitt Ox Roast continued today in the city's downtown. The festivities started bright and early with a 5K run walk. Then at 10 a.m., the community gathered to watch the Ox Roast Parade, which featured dozens of creative floats. The event also offers carnival rides, food, live music, fireworks, and more. Local businesses participated in today's parade, showing off some of DeWitt's history.
This barbershop's been around for almost 100 years, so it's pretty cool to be able to celebrate that tradition and be able to be a part of the community like that. A lot of people come in from other places too to check out this place. So I mean, the community gets together and they help each other out and they support local businesses, which is what matters the most, honestly.
The last day of the festival starts tomorrow with a kids event at 10 a.m. and the carnival opens at 11 a.m. Well, the Howell Melon Festival was cut short tonight after a storm rolled through the area. The event started at 9 a.m. and was supposed to run until 9 p.m., but just before 6 p.m., organizers announced they were canceling the rest of tonight's events. It was a hard decision for the people involved, who say, quote, "We are disappointed, but the safety of our festival goers, staff, and volunteers must come first." They added that tomorrow's festivities will go on as normal and they will open at 9 a.m. as planned. And according to the Howell Opera House, that storm did some damage to their building on Grand River. Staff say one of their windows shattered due to wind. We do have a message out to the Opera House to try and get more information.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Earlier this Saturday evening, we were tracking a couple of strong thunderstorms across mid-Michigan. Even as those thunderstorms made their way through the region, they haven't cooled down our temperatures all that much. Notice still 71 degrees right now in Lansing, at that 70-degree mark in places like Jackson and Adrian. Upper 60s being reported in Charlotte and Mason. That's really not that far off from where our high temperatures were today. We made it up to 92 degrees here in Lansing. 91 was the reported high temperature in Mason. Slightly cooler in Jackson, but still highs in the upper 80s, combined with the humid air mass that we are still dealing with. Well, simply put, it certainly still felt really uncomfortable. Really good news as we go forward, though. The showers and thunderstorms that we saw across the area today all generated ahead of a cold front. That cold front cools our temperatures down just slightly below average as we move into our Sunday. Then we're kind of playing hopscotch with this average line as we go forward. But notice the highest temperature that we have after today going to be right around 84, 85 degrees. So a much needed cool down and a much more comfortable air mass, and not necessarily as hot as we have been as we go forward. We are still going to be tracking a few chances for rain across the area. However, notice over the course of the next 5 days, some locations across mid-Michigan could be picking up an inch or more of precipitation. Now, we are tracking the chance for just a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly as we move into our Sunday morning. Some question marks exist in terms of how much redevelopment we'll get across the area on Monday, but notice more widespread showers going to be possible Tuesday, another round of precipitation Wednesday, before finally we are going to be able to dry things out. This humid air mass, however, even though we are going to see a little bit of relief Sunday and Monday, notice those dew points still rising into the mid to low 70s on Tuesday. Yet again, going to be feeling very uncomfortable across the region at that point in time. And then those dew point temperatures slowly begin to taper off by Wednesday and Thursday of next week, allowing it to feel not only much more comfortable outside, but remember, we're combining these lower dew points with cooler temperatures as well. So a much needed change in the air mass is on the way. If we put precision cast into play, notice a very small chance for an isolated sprinkle south of I-96 as we go throughout the next few hours here. We are drying things out basically once we get past 9-10 o'clock on Sunday. Small chance of an isolated sprinkle in the afternoon or evening. Very similar situation as we move into our Monday. What's interesting on Monday, though, notice that we're dry to start the day, and then precision cast trying to bring a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms across Lake Michigan. Big question is whether or not we develop enough instability to hold those thunderstorms together. Again, still warm in mid-Michigan right now, upper 60s to low 70s, still incredibly warm to our southwest. They're still in the low 80s in portions of Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. Only falling down into the low 70s overnight tonight. For tomorrow, a few storms possible mainly in the morning, that high of 79 degrees, so a lot cooler compared to what we saw today. Next completely dry day going to arrive on Thursday of next week. Plenty of sunshine still in the forecast for the following weekend. Notice those temperatures, big difference. Upper 70s for highs, overnight lows in the mid to low 50s.